And then our next guest used to look like this. But fast forward 7 years, and now she looks like this.
Well, after going under the needle hundreds of times, Becky Holt now believes she is the most tattooed woman in Britain. In fact, 95% of her skin is now covered in ink, and she joins us today to tell us more. And Becky, good morning to you. Thank you for joining us here today.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
So your first tattoo, it was a secret tattoo when you were 15 years old. I think it was a boyfriend's name. I think it was sort of just on your bikini line.
Never a good idea.
So your parents, I mean, of all the tattoos to get, Becky. But that was kind of where this started, right?
Yeah, so I had like a couple, well, I had the name and I had a couple of others darted around and then it just went boom.
So what did your parents say? How did they find out? Because you kept it secret, that first tattoo. How did they find it?
A couple of years after, I was taking the washing downstairs and obviously I was half naked and they spotted it and went absolutely mad at me. They were not happy about me having a name on my crotch.
But was it them that sort of paid to have it covered with more tattoos?
Yeah, so obviously my dad was really disappointed. So he said, if you're going to have something there, at least have something nice. So paid for me to have like some flowers done over it instead.
Right, OK. And this is where the sort of seed was sown, really. And from there, the tattoos have got more and bigger. What is it about them that you love?
I just like to look different. I like to stand out. I love the artwork. I love the time and dedication it takes. And yes, I just went for it and just got completely covered.
So what was the first? Because between 15 and 22, excuse me, you were having sort of those hidden ones that you just mentioned, and then it, as you said, then it really took off when you were 22. The first big statement tattoo.
So the first big one I had was on my thigh. It's a Ganesh, because all the others, yeah, were easily hidden. Like you wouldn't know that I was tattooed if you saw me in the street. And then I started getting like really big ones. So one's on my legs, one's on my arms that just like completely covered my skin.
And they have real meaning, some of them. I mean, you've got David Bowie lyrics on your forehead there, but also there's a rose on your side, I think, which is a tribute to your grandmother.
Yeah, that's correct. Some of them have lots of meaning. I've got the Labyrinth movie on my whole leg, which is like my favourite film. I've got ones for my parents. I've got one for my sister. I'm going to have my daughter's name as soon as I'm allowed to go back to the tattoo studio. But some of them don't have meaning.
It's a big step. Obviously, you go from those hidden ones and then you go to the big statement one, which you told us about, then to having the first one on your face. And that really is, then, that's your front to the world. That's a big exclamation as to who you are, this is me, take it or leave it. When did you put the first one on your face? How did that feel? I think
it was about 5 years ago that I did these ones on the side. And I ran out of space and I just wanted more. I'd always said that I was never going to get tattoos on my hands or my throat and my face. I always wanted them to just sort of like be covered with clothes because they were for me, they weren't for anybody else. But then once I ran out of space and I got so addicted to it that I just thought, you know what, I'm just going to go for it. I'm already so covered, I may as well just put them anywhere.
Well, you haven't got them sort of on your face. I don't think, from what I can see looking through the monitor, it looks like your face is pretty clear. I mean, if this addiction continues, I mean, are you considering sort of covering everything?
Face. So I'm not going to go any further in. I think it'll spoil the aesthetics of my face if I start having my actual face covered.
It's interesting how, and you've discovered this firsthand in a TV experiment, a documentary, that how differently people treat you if you are tattooed or you have no tats. And so they were all covered up, and so you went out and were out with people who didn't know that you had any tattoos. Then you take them off and have the reaction that you get. So what was the difference?
So people were just more inclined to help me. When I did this social experiment, it was to see how different people would react to me when I asked them questions or asked for help. And people were really, really rude to me when I had tattoos. They didn't want to know. I think people think it's quite thuggish. And they're a bit intimidated by people who are heavily covered in ink. So, yeah, it was quite interesting to see the reaction that people gave me.
Because friends and family are very supportive of you and what you're doing. In fact, actually, you had a dream, really. You were looking at the girls in the magazines, and there was one, I think, is it Bazaar magazine in particular?
Yeah,
you sort of always seen these women on the front, very powerful, sort of covered in tattoos, and you wanted to one day be like that. And that dream came true.
Yeah, that's correct.
And so 2014, you were one of those powerful women, and yet you don't feel like that amongst some strangers because they can be very unkind to you.
Yeah, people are quite rude. I think that it's like they don't think I can hear, because they will talk quite openly and quite loudly and be really, really rude about my appearance. But I just have to shrug it off. You know, it's my body and it's my choice. And if people don't like it, you know, there's nothing really I can do about it. You can't be liked by everybody.
Can you stand up and show us any of your favourites?
I can try, and hopefully you'll be able to see. Do you know what? I'm going to go like this. Hold on. So I've got. Can you see
God,
that?
amazing! Yes. Does it hurt? Where was the most painful place?
So the most painful was my armpit.
Oh,
I've had both of my armpits tattooed. This one's actually not finished. This I was in tears. It was horrible. You can't see it now, obviously. I've got my ribs done. That was also horrific. I've got all my crotch, all my intimate area done. That hurt a lot, but it's bearable.
I could just hear groans coming from the crew, literally. They're just going, ooh, wow.
Your daughter, you mentioned, is Aurora Forrest, and so when your daughter.
Look,
there
congratulations.
When she's a bit older and she says, "Mum, I want a tattoo. I'm going to have my boyfriend's name tattooed on me," what will you say to her?
Well, she's not having a boyfriend to start. I will support her decision. Once she's old enough, I will take her to the best artist that's in the UK. So she doesn't have to keep it a secret from me. I'll make sure that she goes to a really, really good artist and gets amazing, good quality ink from somebody that I know and trust.
And I guess that's sort of a message to anybody considering having a tattoo. Would you say that just, you know, be really sure about what you want, be careful where you go?
When I started getting tattoos, you could literally go into a shop, pick it off the wall, and just kind of get anything, and it could be duplicated by somebody. And it wasn't as good quality, whereas now there is incredible artists all over the world. There's no excuse for bad tattoos these days because there are really, really good artists out there.
All right.
Well, it is a work of art.
Good to talk to you.
Thank you, Becky.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Bye-bye.
Nice to talk to you. Bye now.